that. So she asks the goblin, "Then who am I? Since childhood, all the ghosts have been telling me that when I grow up, I will become the goblin's bride." But the goblin denies it and says, "There's nothing like that. You are not my bride. You're just an ordinary girl." Hearing this, Ji-yoon feels very hurt and says harsh things to the goblin and leaves from there. After this, as soon as the goblin reaches his house, Grim Reaper asks him, "Is that girl really your bride?" The goblin denies it and says, "She can't see my sword. That's why she's just a normal girl." Then Grim Reaper asks him, "Then why do you want to save her?" The goblin doesn't give any answer to this. After this, in the next scene, we see that a lot of time passes, but Ji-yoon hasn't called the goblin because she is angry with him. And because of this, the goblin also becomes sad and starts staying angry. Then Grim Reaper tries to cheer him up by teasing him. After that, we see a scene from a few days later where Grim Reaper is going somewhere. So the goblin becomes suspicious of him and follows him. And here we find out that Grim Reaper has found Ji-yoon home address. So he had gone there to take her, but Ji-yoon isn't there. So the goblin catches Grim Reaper and asks him, "What are you doing here? Do you want to go after that girl again?" Then Grim Reaper says to him, "You're right, I will drag her out from anywhere." On the other hand, Ji-yoon is now staying at Sunny's restaurant, and she's thinking, if I'm not the goblin's bride, then why have all the ghosts been calling me the goblin's bride from childhood till now? Troubled by these questions, she goes out to find the ghosts, and just then she meets some ghosts, so she asks them, "The goblin has refused to accept me as his bride. Then why did you all keep telling me that since childhood?" Then one of the ghosts tells her, "In childhood, the goblin saved your mother and your life. You had actually died, but he brought you back to life." Hearing this, Ji-yoon becomes shocked and starts to feel sorry for saying bad things to the goblin. On the other hand, we see Ji-yoon Aunt who, while looking for Ji-yoon Tak, reaches Sunny's restaurant and pretends as if she really cares a lot about Ji-yoon Tak. But Sunny already knows what Ji-yoon Aunt is like, so she doesn't tell her anything about Ji-yoon and instead threatens her and sends her away. And then as soon as she gets home, loan recovery agents also arrive there because Ji-yoon Aunt has taken a lot of loans which she wanted to repay using Ji-yoon money. But now she has neither Ji-yoon nor her money, so the aunt is looking for her. But the loan recovery agents threaten Ji-yoon Aunt, "If you don't pay the money soon, things won't be good for you." But Ji-yoon Aunt is very cunning, so she tells them, "If you want money, then kidnap my niece. She has a lot of money." After this, the agents and Ji-yoon Aunt make a plan together, and they kidnap Ji-yoon Tak. And when they reach a deserted place, one of the men asks, "Where is your money?" Ji-yoon doesn't understand anything they're saying, so she asks them, "What are you talking about?" Then the man tells her, "Actually, your aunt took a loan from us and said that her niece has a lot of money and she'll repay our loan. That's why we've come to get money from you." Hearing this, Ji-yoon feels really bad that her aunt could stoop so low. On the other hand, the goblin finds out that Ji-yoon is in trouble, so he gets ready to come there. And we see that the kidnapper's car isn't moving forward because the goblin has arrived there. And just then, the powerful entry of Goblin and Grim Reaper happens, and Goblin slices the kidnapper's car into two with his sword, which terrifies the kidnappers greatly. Then Goblin erases the memory of those kidnappers. After that, he starts taking Ji-yoon away from there. On the way, Ji-yoon asks him, "Why did you bring Grim Reaper along? Is he your friend?" Goblin says, "Yes." Then Grim Reaper starts saying bad things about Ji-yoon Tak. "Look at this, we came here to save her, and instead of thanking us, she's interrogating us." And then Goblin explains to him, "Ji-yoon is really scared right now, so please don't say anything for now." After this, Ji-yoon and Goblin go out for dinner, and there Ji-yoon thanks him for saving her life and says, "I found out that 19 years ago you saved me and my mom too. And that day I don't know what all nonsense I said to you. I'm really ashamed of that. Please forgive me." And then Goblin forgives her. After this, Ji-yoon says, "How did you know this time that I was in trouble? Because this time I didn't call you." Then Goblin says to her, "Whenever you are in trouble, I will automatically find out, and I will come to save your life." Hearing this, Ji-yoon feels really good. And then after dinner, the two of them leave from there. In the next scene, we see that Goblin finds out about Ji-yoon kidnapping through Deokwa, and then he finds out that this entire thing was done by Ji-yoon Aunt. So Goblin gets really angry and decides to teach them all a lesson. That's why, using his powers, he places 2 gold purses inside Ji-yoon wardrobe. And as soon as Ji-yoon Aunt checks the wardrobe, they get very angry, thinking Ji-yoon converted all her money into gold purses. Then they stay awake the whole night, guarding those gold purses so that Ji-yoon doesn't come back and take them away. And as soon as morning comes, they see the gold purses are gone, which makes them very anxious and they start searching for them everywhere. And Goblin, watching them from a distance, laughs a lot. This scene is truly very funny. In the next scene, Goblin is watching a K-pop singer with Daeok Hwa and Grim Reaper, whose face resembles that of the king who had him killed. Goblin immediately asks Grim Reaper, "Can you find out who this man was in his past life?" Then Grim Reaper says to him, "To see someone's past life, I have to touch that person first. Only then I can tell." After this, when Goblin goes to his room, he is missing Ji-yoon a lot because Ji-yoon Tak, out of anger, had told him, "If I'm not your bride, then we shouldn't meet each other anymore." On the other hand, Ji-yoon is also lost in thoughts of Goblin. Then Ji-yoon is sitting somewhere eating fish, when suddenly her fish catches fire, and when she blows it out, Goblin finds out that Ji-yoon is thinking about him. So he immediately goes to her, and Ji-yoon says to him, "This time I called you by mistake, so please go away." But Goblin doesn't listen to her. Then she says to him, "I'm not even your bride, so why are you standing here?" Then Goblin says to her, "You can't be my bride because you can't see that special thing inside me." Hearing this, Ji-yoon immediately says, "Who said I can't see that special thing?" Goblin asks her again, "Can you really see that special thing? If you really can, then tell me what it is." And then Ji-yoon says, "Yes, I really can see it, but I won't tell you like this. First, you'll have to take me out for dinner, then I'll tell you." And then Goblin starts following her around and takes her to an expensive restaurant. Just then, Grim Reaper also arrives, who has come to take Ji-yoon Tak, but he can't take her while Goblin is there, so he leaves from there. After this, Ji-yoon says to Goblin, "Isn't Grim Reaper so handsome? But I don't know why God made him a Grim Reaper." Hearing this, Goblin feels very jealous, and he asks her, "If you find Grim Reaper handsome, then how do I look to you?" To which Ji-yoon says, "You look just okay to me." And then Goblin feels even worse about this. After this, we see both of them in a garden where she says, "I'm very happy with my life. Even if I'm poor, I'm really happy that I got my mom's love in childhood, and also I got you and I became your bride." Hearing this, Goblin says, "You still haven't told me what special thing you see inside me." So Ji-yoon says to him, "I'll tell you that some other time." Hearing her words, Goblin says, "I know you were fooling me. You're not my bride." And then Ji-yoon doesn't say anything and leaves from there. But Goblin feels happy thinking about her after going home. On the other side, we see Grim Reaper, who is secretly going somewhere, and Goblin sees him and asks, "Where are you going?" So Grim Reaper says, "I'm going to the supermarket." But Goblin doesn't believe him, so he goes with him this time too. And because of that, poor Grim Reaper has to actually go to the supermarket. After this, Goblin says to him, "I'm leaving from here tomorrow, but you promise me that after I leave, you won't do anything to that girl and won't take her with you." So to this, Grim Reaper says to him, "Okay, I won't do anything to her." Grim Reaper feels very bad about his leaving. After this, Goblin goes to Ji-yoon house, and as soon as Ji-yoon sees him, she takes him outside because she doesn't want her aunt's family to see him. And then she asks Goblin, "This time I neither called you nor remembered you, so what have you come here for?" Then Goblin says, "Because this time I was remembering you, so I just came to meet you." After this, Ji-eun asks him, "Why were you remembering me?" So Goblin doesn't say anything to her and leaves from there. After this, Goblin goes straight to his house and starts packing to leave because he changes his house every 20 years. On the other side, we see Grim Reaper walking over a bridge, when suddenly we see that same mysterious lady, and then we find out that this mysterious lady is none other than the fairy godmother. And she says to Grim Reaper, "Do you want rings or a bracelet?" But Grim Reaper says, "These things are of no use to me." Then she says, "If not for yourself, then take it for your girlfriend." Just then, Grim Reaper's eyes go to a green-colored ring, and let us tell you that this is the same ring that Goblin's sister had in the previous birth. Just as Grim Reaper is about to pick up that ring, Sunny arrives and picks up that ring. And as soon as Grim Reaper sees Sunny, he starts crying a lot. But Sunny falls in love with Grim Reaper at first sight, and then she says to him, "I can give you this ring back, but in return you'll have to give me your number." But Grim Reaper doesn't have a phone, so he says to her, "You give me your number, I'll call you." So Sunny gives him her number and also returns his ring, and then leaves from there. After this, the fairy godmother is talking about the two of them and says, "It's written in fate that both of you would meet, and you'll have to pay a heavy price for this fate." Why she was saying this, we will find out later. On the other side, Goblin becomes very emotional looking at his sister's photograph. And then we see Sunny, who is getting very angry because Grim Reaper hasn't called her even once yet. And Ji-yoon is consoling her saying, "That person will call you soon." After this, the Grim Reaper is in his room and smiles while looking at Sunny's number. From this, it is clearly understood that he has also started liking Sunny. In the next scene, when Ji-yoon is in her house, some people arrive there and Ji-yoon asks them, "What are you doing here?" They tell her, "Your aunt has sold this house." Hearing this, Ji-yoon becomes quite upset and thinks, "Where will I go now?" On the other side, Goblin is missing Ji-yoon very much, so he sets out to meet her. And Ji-yoon Tak, sitting by the seaside, is remembering her mom and tells her, "Now I don't even have a house to live in, so I don't understand where I should go." And saying this, she starts crying. But just then, Goblin makes a dramatic entry from behind. Ji-yoon suddenly sees him and asks him, "What are you doing here?" He questions her back, "Why are you crying?" But Ji-yoon doesn't tell him anything and asks him, "Can you tell me why it's raining so heavily?" So Goblin tells her, "Whenever I am very sad, it rains heavily." Hearing this, Ji-yoon is quite surprised and says, "That means the next time it rains, I will understand that you're sad." Then she asks Goblin, why did you come here? So Goblin says, I came here to meet you one last time because I'm leaving Korea forever and going to another country. Hearing this, Ji-yoon becomes very sad. After this, Goblin goes to his home and is very sad because he's about to leave. Just then, the doorbell of his house rings, and when the Grim Reaper goes to open the door, he asks, what are you doing here? Ji-yoon asks him, is this Goblin's house? So the Grim Reaper lies to her and says, this is my house. And just as she's about to leave, Goblin arrives there and asks her, how did you find out my home address? Ji-yoon tells him, I got your home address from the ghosts. And then she says to him, if I tell you that I see something special in you, will you not leave from here? To this, Goblin says to her, if you see something special in me, then prove it. After this, Ji-yoon tells him, before I prove it to you, you have to agree to 3 things of mine. First, the 2 of us must get married. Second, you have to give me $5,000 daily. And third, you will not leave Korea and will always live here. But Goblin does not believe her words, so he is not interested in what she says. So Ji-yoon suddenly points toward his chest and says, I can see this spot, because of which Goblin becomes very surprised and tells her, you are the one I have been waiting for the past 900 years. After this, Ji-yoon becomes happy and asks him, so now do we both have to get married, and after marriage will I also become a goblin? And the most important thing, now you will not go anywhere from here, right? So Goblin tells her, yes, now I will not go anywhere from here. After that, he sends her back to her home. After this, Goblin, in a completely panicked state, goes to the Grim Reaper and tells him, Ji-yoon can see the spot on my chest, which means she is my bride, and now I'm going to die very soon. Grim Reaper agrees with what he says and tells him, anyway, this is what you wanted, that you would find your bride and get freed from a cursed long life. Hearing this, Goblin feels very bad and tells him, but this life wasn't all that bad. Ever since Ji-yoon came into my life, I started liking this life, and now I want to live more. So the Grim Reaper says, don't get trapped in useless emotions because I can take that girl anytime. So it's better that you pull out this sword and free her too. After this, Goblin goes to meet Ji-yoon, where she tells him about her aunt, that her aunt has thrown her out of the house and now she doesn't have any place to stay. So she asks Goblin, can I live with you in your house? But Goblin refuses her because Grim Reaper also lives with him in that house. But Ji-yoon insists a lot, so unwillingly, Goblin has to say yes. And Ji-yoon happily goes to live in his house. But after that, Goblin goes to Grim Reaper and tells him, you will not tell Ji-yoon at all that after pulling out this sword, I will die. Hearing him, Grim Reaper agrees too. In the next scene, Goblin is giving $5,000 to Ji-yoon and says, I am fulfilling one of your wishes. After this, Ji-yoon says, I don't want anything now. I'm very happy just with the fact that I've become your bride. And yes, I wanted to ask you something. What type of wife do you want? I'm ready to become the kind of wife you want. Hearing Ji-yoon words, Goblin is surprised because the poor girl doesn't even know what it means to be Goblin's bride. After this, Ji-yoon asks him, can I stay here with you? But Goblin refuses to let her stay with him and sends her to the best hotel in Korea, which is not far from his house. And then we see Deok-hwa with his grandfather, and his grandfather knows everything about Ji-yoon, that she is Goblin's bride. So he tells his grandson Deok-hwa to take care of Ji-yoon-tak. After this, when Ji-yoon enters her hotel room, she enjoys it a lot because she has never seen such a beautiful room before. On the other side, Goblin has lost his sleep at night, so he takes a lot of pills to sleep. The next day, when Ji-yoon comes out of the hotel to go to school, she sees that it's raining heavily outside, so she starts thinking, what is Goblin worried about now, and why is he sad? Because now he has found his bride, that is, me. Meanwhile, Deok-hwa arrives there with a big, beautiful car and tells her, from now on, you are our responsibility, so from today, we will drop you to your school every day. And when Ji-yoon is getting out of the car at school, all her friends come there and they think that she has bought a new car, so they praise her a lot. On the other side, Grim Reaper is very sad and is missing Sunny, so he goes to the same bridge where he met Sunny for the first time and he starts waiting for her there. But even after waiting for a long time, Sunny does not come there. In the next scene, Ji-yoon is sitting in her hotel room and is very sad because many days have passed and Goblin hasn't come to meet her. So she directly reaches Goblin's house and, standing at the door, shouts loudly, open the door quickly, I want to meet you. But no sound comes from inside, so she becomes very angry and tries her old method. She takes a candle and blows it out, because of which Goblin immediately appears in front of her. And then Ji-yoon scolds him a lot and asks him, ever since I told you that I am your bride, why have you been ignoring me? But Goblin diverts her mind and tells her, I am not avoiding you at all. I was just very busy with my work. And then, to cheer up her mood, he takes her to the supermarket where we see that Goblin has drunk a lot and is doing very strange and funny things, which Ji-yoon is managing with great difficulty and taking him to his home. But on the way, Goblin tells her, I want to go with you. And then Ji-yoon asks him, when will you fulfill the rest of my wishes? I mean, you gave me a job, but when will you get me a boyfriend? Hearing her, Goblin refuses to fulfill this wish, so Ji-yoon asks him, could it be that you've fallen in love with me? But Goblin doesn't give her any answer. After this, Ji-yoon asks him another question. What will happen if I pull this sword out of your chest? Hearing this, Goblin becomes even more sad and doesn't tell her the truth, that if this sword is pulled out of his chest, he will die, and he lies to her. After that, everything will be fine. The next day, when Ji-yoon is going to school, she sees on the way that there are many flowers blooming on a tree, but it's surprising because it's winter season. On the other side, Dae-ok-hwa goes to Goblin and scolds him a lot. Why did you drink so much last night? And says, you're hiding something from me, right? Because last night so many flowers bloomed all over the city. That means you were very happy last night. Sir, please tell me the whole truth. What happened last night? Hearing him, Goblin becomes very troubled because he doesn't remember anything about last night. After this, he goes with Dae-ok-hwa to have lunch at a restaurant where Grim Reaper is also present, but he is wearing a hat because of which Dae-ok-hwa cannot see him. And when Goblin is discussing last night with Grim Reaper, Dae-ok-hwa finds it very strange and thinks, there's no one here except me, then who is Sir talking to? Goblin becomes very worried, thinking maybe he told Ji-yoon the whole truth. So Grim Reaper tries to explain and calm him down, but Goblin gets even more worried and starts shouting loudly at Grim Reaper. But poor Dae-ok-hwa thinks, my boss has gone mad after drinking last night. This is a very funny scene. In the next scene, Sunny is very sad and asks Ji-yoon Tak, am I not looking beautiful? Is that the reason that boy hasn't called me yet? Ji-yoon consoles her. One day or another, that boy will definitely call you. And on the other side, Grim Reaper is also missing Sunny a lot, and he is seeing Sunny's face in every girl. After this, Ji-yoon is at her school, where a girl is troubling her a lot. Just then, all her ghost friends come and help her. And then Ji-yoon calls the school principal and complains about that girl. And after school is over, as soon as she comes out, she sees that Goblin has come to pick her up. Seeing him, Ji-yoon feels very happy and shocked, but she doesn't show it at all. Ji-yoon says to Goblin, I'm hungry, let's go eat somewhere. So Goblin suddenly brings her to Canada using his powers, and Ji-yoon becomes very happy seeing Canada. After this, they both go to a hotel to eat food, where Ji-yoon asks him, who stabbed you with this sword? So Goblin tells her, someone close to me stabbed me with this sword. Someone I trusted the most. Here, Goblin is talking about the king. And then, after this, Ji-yoon asks him, how old are you? So Goblin tells her, I'm 938 years old. Hearing this, Ji-yoon's mouth stays wide open, and then she says to Goblin, your life is so good. You've been alive for 900 years, and you will never die, and you can freely enjoy your life peacefully. To this, Goblin says, there is nothing good in it, because in this, you stay alive, but all your loved ones die. And when a person sees their loved ones dying in front of them, it hurts a lot, and no one knows this better than me. After this, the two go under a tree, where Ji-yoon asks him, since the time you found out that I am your bride, you haven't been happy at all. Do you still doubt that I'm not your bride? If that's the case, then I'll pull this sword out of your chest right now. Then you'll believe me, right? That I'm telling the truth? Hearing this, Goblin becomes very scared and starts running away from her. But Ji-yoon keeps insisting that she has to prove that she is his bride. Then, Goblin tells her, I trust you, that you are my bride. There's no need to do all this right now. This is really a very funny scene. After this, Ji-yoon gives him a book and goes to a post office, and there she writes a letter in Goblin's name. What she writes in that letter, we will find out later. On the other side, Goblin is reading that book, and just then, Ji-yoon arrives and starts playing there like a child. And as soon as Goblin sees her playing like a child, he becomes very happy and gets lost in his thoughts, thinking, since the time you came into my life, my desire to live has increased even more, and now I want to live my whole life with you. And then Ji-yoon comes near him, but Goblin just keeps looking at her. And when Ji-yoon asks him, why are you looking at me like that? He doesn't give any answer because Goblin realizes that he has fallen in love with Ji-yoon Tak. But as happy as he feels about it, he becomes equally sad because now he is going to die very soon. After this, they both return to China, and when Goblin is at home, he feels a lot of pain in his chest, and he understands that this pain is because of the sword, as now, the time to pull it out has come, because now he has found his bride. In the next scene, Sunny finally meets Grim Reaper, and she scolds him a lot. Why didn't you call me? Don't you have a mobile phone? To this, Grim Reaper tells her, I don't have a mobile. After this, Sunny forcibly takes him to a cafe to have coffee, where Grim Reaper just keeps drinking coffee and says nothing to Sunny, which shows us that he doesn't know how to talk to girls at all. After this, Sunny tells him, you've been drinking only coffee for the past 1 hour. Say something about yourself too. So Grim Reaper becomes very nervous and starts saying anything. What should I say about myself? You tell me about yourself. How are you? How are your family members? And so on. Hearing Grim Reaper, Sunny starts laughing, and seeing her laugh, Grim Reaper tells her, "Your smile is very beautiful." Hearing this, Sunny becomes very happy but also a little confused, thinking what kind of person this is. Sometimes he says such nice things and sometimes stays completely silent. After this, when Grim Reaper comes home, he's thinking only about Sunny. How should he move forward in conversation with her? Just then Goblin arrives, who is very sad and is thinking that he should not even think about being happy, because now his final time is coming. And then he decides that during the first snowfall of the year, he will ask Ji-yoon to pull out the sword from his chest, and then he will leave this world. Grim Reaper hears all this because he has the power to hear what's in the heart. So he asks Goblin, "Have you really decided about your final time?" To which Goblin says, "Yes." And then we notice that Grim Reaper is not happy at all hearing this. He feels very bad, because no matter how much these two fight with each other, in the end, they are old friends. On the other side, Ji-yoon lights many candles and blows them out, because it has been many days and Goblin hasn't come to meet her. Just then Goblin arrives and tells her, "From now on, you won't need to do all this because now you will live with me in my house." Hearing this, Ji-yoon becomes very happy and asks Goblin, "Could it be that you've fallen in love with me?" So Goblin says, if a goblin must fall in love with his bride, then assume that's what it is. After this, he says, "I love you" to Ji-yoon Tak. But when he says, "I love you" to her, there's not a single expression on his face, because of which Ji-yoon doesn't like it at all. And when they are going home, it starts raining on the way, because of which Ji-yoon understands that Goblin is very sad, that's why it's raining. But she is a little confused, thinking, what could be the reason that Goblin is so sad? And then many thoughts start running through her mind like, does Goblin not love me? Did he say "I love you" to me under pressure? And then she asks Goblin his real name, and when she finds out his real name, she becomes very happy because she really likes Goblin's real name, Kim Shin. In the next scene, Ji-yoon finds a book in Goblin's room which was written by Goblin himself, but Ji-yoon doesn't understand that language at all, because Goblin had written it 900 years ago. So Ji-yoon leaves the book there and goes away. And then we come to